What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to talk about convenience. In order to do that, I need to take Kevin. Yeah! You guys know that I'm from Canada, specifically from Ottawa. And one thing I noticed after leaving there and coming to live here in China is that Canada lacks, convenience. Just generally speaking, they lack kind of convenience. And don't get me wrong, Canada is like an amazing country. It's like the fucking best. It's a great place to live. But just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, I used to go to university, and in order to do that, I had to take the bus because I couldn't afford a car or any kind of personal transportation. What the fuck? And it's like that, I feel like, for a lot of people that live in Canada that can't afford cars. Of course, cars are quite expensive. And so I used to have to take the bus, which is fine. Ottawa has a pretty decent, public transportation system. But, I went to school all the way across the city, and it took me like an hour, I think, to bus all the way over to school. And, and it sucked on particular days where I only had one class because those classes were only an hour long. So I'd spent, totally 2 hours on a bus to go to a 1 hour class. That sucked. But I moved here and I, naturally took the bus again to go to work. But as I was on my way to work, I would look out the window and notice that there were people on scooters and motorcycles just passing everyone. They weren't driving quick. It was just their ability naturally on a scooter to get by people allowed them to move quite a lot quicker through traffic. So I think the first thing I wanted to say about how convenient China is just the driving. I'm going to limit that, I think, to mostly motorcycles and scooters. But if you're planning on living here, I would strongly recommend buying a motorcycle. And that's what I did. You know what I mean? I stopped taking the bus a week after I lived there. I went to a local shop, bought myself a bike, and that's where I discovered my love for riding. I've never stopped since that day. It's amazing. One, it's really fun, and two, it's convenient. I mentioned driving in China quite a lot in a lot of my videos, but it's rarely positive, so I figured I'd take this chance to say something good about it. I usually complain about how just bad people are at driving here. That guy has his right turn signal on and turned left. Did you see that? He still has his right turn signal on. Just basic stuff like that. That guy has zero knowledge of how to operate the things in his car. But it's cool, It's dangerous, yes, but this video is not about danger in China. It's about convenience. So dangerous, yes. Convenient, also yes. I understand that, in the West, I think depending on the country or the state or the province or whatever, you're able to lane split. Now, if you don't know what lane splitting means, that means I can see these two cars. Well, they're too close to each other right now, but you can kind of go in between the cars. Where I'm from, again, in Ottawa, you can't do that if you ride a motorcycle. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if the laws have changed, but I doubt it because it's Ottawa. You can't go in between the cars. So you're pretty much the same as a car in a sense. If you're riding a motorcycle, people are going to respect your personal space and make sure not to hit you and look out for you. But here, nah. You're taking a big risk when you hop on a bike, like I said in my last video. What the fuck are you doing? He's going down the wrong way on his bike. I'm having a fucking riot out here watching people drive.
So now that driving is out of the way, I wanted to talk about probably the best thing about being in China and that is their food. Not only is it incredibly varied and delicious, but it's also convenient. If you really wanted to, you could theoretically never leave your house and still eat. I would say about 95% of all restaurants in China actually deliver to your door. Okay, so I understand in the West, you can order Chinese food and pizza to your door, but in China you can order from any restaurant, and you do this using an app called which translates to literally hungry, or are you hungry? This is really convenient not only for Chinese people but for foreigners, because chances are if you're a foreigner and you're just coming to China for the first time, you're probably not going to be able to read Chinese because reading Chinese is quite difficult, especially at first. The convenient thing about is that it actually has pictures for you, so you don't have to read anything. All you have to do is scroll through the restaurants and that'll be in your vicinity. You click on the restaurant, it'll show you all the different things that they have to offer. You put it in the order, and then this app will link to your bank account. So it's just, you pay for it on your phone, and then I would say 20 to 30 minutes later, depending how far the restaurant is and what kind of food you got, they'll deliver right to your door. It's awesome. This is so good for foreigners who just want to try different Chinese foods. They, because if you go to a restaurant and they hand you a menu and there's no pictures and you can't read, you're basically gonna have to point and shoot and you don't really know what you're gonna get, which is fun in itself, but sometimes you just wanna, know what you're gonna get. And that's what Ulama is really good for. Just while we're on the topic of food, let's say, for example, you're in China, you're here for a couple of months or a couple of years, whatever, and you're like, God, I miss Western food, or I just want a really good burger, which I feel like most foreigners feel. I'm just gonna show you how convenient it is to get that. Now, those people do deliver. McDonald's delivers here, KFC delivers, all of those Western kind of fast food chains do deliver here. But let's say you don't want to deliver, you want to go to the restaurant. I happen to live in the very western part of Huizhou. It's kind of the new, special economic zone of Huizhou, I guess. I'm just gonna move over to my kitchen window and I'm gonna show you all of the restaurants that are just not even in my area. I can see them. Okay, so starting over here, you can see that La Caesar is actually a pizza place. There's a Burger King right there. There's an IMAX just kind of above that, all within this mall. Down there, you can't see the logo, but those are Starbucks. That's a Starbucks there with the chairs and the things you can sit at and eat. Moving on over here, that's a Walmart. You can go to get your groceries if you need it. Below that is a KFC. Moving on over here, way down there. Again, you can't quite see it, but that's actually a Pizza Hut. And there's another movie theater in here. So as you can see, just from what I can see outside my window in this mall, are just an insane amount of Western restaurants. And if you don't want Western food, excuse my kitchen, that's disgusting. If you don't want Western food, also okay, on the other side of this building and around here, I can't show you because I don't have windows in that side of my room, are a lot of different Chinese restaurants that you can go to and check out. This is China. Chinese people, like a lot of people around the world, love their food. They're very passionate and they care about their food. And you can see that because of just the sheer amount of restaurants that are around all the neighborhoods. On every single street, there's probably 5 or 6 different restaurants that'll serve different kinds of food from around the country. Maybe you want northern food. Maybe you want food from Sichuan province or whatever. It's all very convenient, all within walking distance, as compared to the West, where if you want to go to a Walmart or if you want to go to a restaurant, chances are you're probably going to have to drive there. We're so used to that, I don't think that Western people consider that inconvenient, but now that I live in China and everything is just right here, it's all very immediate, I have a hard time going to the West and driving to those places like a peasant. I want it delivered to me, China style. One more thing I wanted to sneak in there that doesn't really have to do with convenience, but especially around this time of year, my favorite thing in the whole world about living in China is that most restaurants will set out tables and chairs so that you and your friends can go and sit outside. And it's getting quite hot, and there's nothing better than ordering a bunch of food and drinking an ice cold beer outside on the streets of China with your friends. That's the best. One last thing I wanted to talk about was the app Wechat. Now Wechat, I haven't done research on this, but it's safe to say that it is the most used, most popular app within China. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this app because Vivi just released a video on that on her channel. Go check that out. But it's really convenient because one, you get to message your friends without having to use text messages, so it'll use data or Wi-Fi depending on where you are. Two, you can pay for things immediately with that app. So say you're going to the store and you don't have cash, no problem. Don't have your debit or credit card, no problem. Most places nowadays anyways, they'll take WeChat Pay. So you just kind of scan a QR code on your phone, bam, it pays. You can do things like order taxis, shop online. I mean, this app just does everything. It's incredible. There are other apps that do it a little bit better. There are other apps that do different things, but WeChat is definitely a convenient app that the West, I feel like, needs to have. I feel like, the West can learn so much from China if you're going to talk about convenience. Now, those are just some of the things I find convenient about living in China. If you guys like this video, let me know in the comment section and maybe I can make another one talking about more things that China kind of does a little bit better than the West in terms of convenience. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to all the people that have been messaging me on my Facebook page. That felt really cool, being able to talk to you guys kind of one-on-one. So check out my Facebook page if you haven't already, and my Patreon. Stay positive, keep your stick on the ice, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.